The air thrummed with the beat of a mariachi band, the smell of sizzling fajitas, and sweet margaritas teasing my nose. Our annual Cinco de Mayo block party was in full swing. It had been years since anything remotely unsettling had happened in our quiet neighborhood, and the party was a comforting ritual. Good food, good friends, the laughter of kids chasing each other under twinkling string lights, and overall a good time. As the night wore on, the adults clustered in chattering groups, the kids fading away into their own games in the dusk. My daughter, Anna, was playing tag with the neighbor's kids down by the creek when she came stumbling back, eyes wide with a mix of excitement and alarm. "Daddy, there's something in the woods. Something big." I laughed and ruffled her hair, probably just a deer, honey, but her insistence gnawed at the back of my mind. We lived on the edge of town, the creek bordering a stretch of thick woods. I decided a quick check couldn't hurt. Armed with a hefty flashlight, I followed Anna, expecting a nervous rabbit, maybe a raccoon at most. The woods were dark, the party lights barely a faint glow by the creek. The beam of my flashlight danced across fallen leaves and gnarled roots as we moved deeper in. That's when I saw it. Not the rustle of an animal, but a flash of fabric disappearing between the trees. Unease prickled my neck. "Anna, stay close," I said in a hushed voice. We edged forward, my flashlight cutting through the gloom. There, by a massive oak, was a makeshift shelter of some kind, a tarp strung between branches, a pile of grimy blankets spilling out. My stomach lurched. Anna tugged at my hand, whispering for us to leave, but a gnawing curiosity, mixed with a sense of responsibility for the other families, kept me rooted to the spot. I moved closer, the flashlight trembling slightly, and then I saw them, eyes gleaming in the darkness from within the shelter. Human eyes, but shadowed, feral. There must have been two, maybe more. A snarl ripped through the silence, a guttural, animalistic sound. Terror washed over me. I scooped up Anna and ran. We didn't stop until we stumbled, breathless, back into the circle of party lights. Words tumbled out of me, the shelter, the eyes, the guttural snarl. At first my neighbors looked at me with a mix of disbelief and pity, assuming it was the tequila talking. But then, Steve from down the road, always the level-headed one, decided to check it out with me. He returned 10 minutes later, his face pale. The others didn't need confirmation. The fear was contagious now. The party was over. Calls to the police turned up nothing. The woods were combed and the makeshift shelter was torn down, but whoever had been there was long gone. We never figured out who it was, runaways, drifters, or something far more sinister. The block party tradition died that year. The woods that used to seem like a harmless extension of our backyards now felt menacing, a place of shadows hiding unknown dangers. And on nights when the wind rustles the leaves near the creek, I still catch myself scanning the darkness, remembering those gleaming eyes and the terror of the unknown. The piñata swayed in the breeze, a rainbow explosion of papier-mâché waiting to burst. Kids shrieked in a whirlwind of sugar-fueled energy, and the scent of roasted chilies filled the air. My best friend, Sophia, had thrown another killer Cinco de Mayo party, and even my usual flicker of social anxiety couldn't stop the evening from feeling festive. "Let's grab another margarita, yeah?" Sophia nudged me, eyes sparkling. Always the life of any gathering, she was already halfway to the makeshift bar when I caught sight of him. Under the canopy of an old oak tree, a man sat alone. An odd sort of stillness radiated from him. His clothes were tattered, his long hair streaked with gray. But it was his eyes that held me captive, a piercing blue so vivid against his weathered skin that they seemed almost unnatural. They were fixed on me, unblinking. A prickle of unease ran down my spine. "Hey Soph," I mumbled, trying to catch her attention. Sophia, already chattering to someone by the drinks, didn't hear me. I took a deep breath, pasted on a smile, and walked over to the man. "Hey there," I said, trying to keep my voice bright. "Enjoying the party?" He didn't answer. His gaze remained fixed, unwavering. Up close, the intensity of those eyes was almost painful. Panic began to simmer in my chest. I'm Gabriella," I tried again, the words stumbling out awkwardly. Still no response. Suddenly he rose, his movement so fluid it was almost startling. My heart hammered a frantic rhythm as he stepped closer. A strange, spicy scent clung to him, something earthy and unfamiliar. And then, with a chilling smile, he spoke, his voice a rasp. "You are chosen, child." The word choked in my throat. The air seemed to thicken, the party sounds dimming in the distance. He leaned closer, his breath hot against my cheek. Chosen for the festival, the old ways. A wave of nausea washed over me. The festival. Every year, our small town hosted a harvest festival in late October. There were rumors about shadowy figures seen on the outskirts of the celebrations, stories whispered around bonfires. But everyone always thought it was just creepy costumes and urban legends. Not this. "No, please," I stammered, shrinking back. He chuckled, a low, guttural sound that made my stomach twist. That was when I heard Sophia's voice, cutting through the haze. "Gabby, there you are!" She came barreling towards us, that brilliant smile firmly in place. The man under the oak vanished. One moment he was there, the next, gone like a wisp of smoke. My stomach lurched, not with relief, but the absolute certainty that this wasn't an illusion. He was real, and he meant what he said. The party blurred around me. Sophia was oblivious, but I saw it all with horrifying clarity. The painted grins of the piñatas turned monstrous, the laughter of children echoing like mocking screeches. When night fell, and the tequila flowed a little too freely, I made my escape. My excuses sounded flimsy, even in my own ears. As I drove myself home, my hands trembled on the wheel. That night I locked all the doors, drew the curtains, and huddled on the couch, staring at the flickering TV. Sleep was impossible. He was out there, I knew it. Chosen? The old ways? What did those words even mean? What was waiting for me at the festival? The Cinco de Mayo celebration, once a source of joy, had become a chilling countdown. I haven't told Sophia, and I haven't told anyone else, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm walking towards something terrible, something those piercing blue eyes saw in me, a darkness I didn't know was there. I remember the beat of the mariachi music drifting over the backyard like it was yesterday. It was Cinco de Mayo, and our family was gathered for the usual barbecue and piñata mayhem. My cousins were squabbling over a particularly gaudy sombrero, and the smell of carne asada hung thick in the air. "Hey Alex," my brother Ben nudged me from where I was nursing a soda. "Bored yet?" "A little," I admitted. "Don't get me wrong, I loved hanging out with the family, but sometimes the chaos got a bit much." Ben was the same way, always up for some fun, but needing those moments of escape too. "What if we checked out that new Minecraft server Dad was talking about?" He waved his phone with that familiar gleam in his eye. Minecraft was definitely our thing that summer. It was a world away from sibling squabbles and family noise where we could create and build and adventure without interruption. "Sure," I said, unable to resist the lure of fresh, unbuilt territory. We slipped into the house and upstairs to Dad's office, commandeering the computer for an hour or two. Our family get-togethers always lasted late, so we figured nobody would miss us. The server was just as Dad described it, a vast, untouched landscape filled with pixelated trees and mountains begging to be explored. Ben, ever the impatient one, set off immediately, while I took my time digging a fountain for the epic castle I had planned. We chatted through our headsets, the familiar back and forth easing my usual party nerves. It was almost dusk when things got strange. I was gathering cobblestone for my castle walls when I heard a noise from Ben's headset, a sort of raspy breathing coming in short, frantic bursts. "Dude, what's up? You sound out of breath," I asked. "No, nothing," he wheezed. "Just saw something weird." He sounded more shaken than his typical trash-talking self. I abandoned my cobblestone for a moment. What was it? Another player this early on? Did they mess with your stuff? "Not a player," he muttered, and I heard the rustle of movement. Something, I don't know, tall, white, glowing eyes? A prickle of unease ran down my spine. We both knew creepers, with their telltale green skin and hissing, but this sounded different. "Think it's a mod? Maybe it's one of Dad's friends messing with us?" He didn't answer. Instead, I heard his panicked yelps and a clatter like the headset tumbling to the floor. "Ben," I shouted. His reply was drowned out by static, then a horrible screeching sound that made me yank my own headphones off. "Alex!" he screamed, his voice echoing with a strange metallic distortion, and then silence. I sat there, heart pounding. Had it been a prank? A really bad internet connection? But then I noticed something off in my Minecraft world. A figurehead appeared on the horizon, tall and stick-like, its pixelated eyes glowing unnaturally white. It was moving towards me. My hands went cold. The figure seemed to glitch, its blocky form dissolving and reforming as it came closer. Panic surged through me. I needed to get out of there, warn the rest of my family. I fumbled for the server disconnect button, but as I hit it, an explosion of static filled my screen. When the screen cleared, my character, my carefully planned castle, everything was gone. Even the server options themselves had vanished, the whole screen a chaotic swirl of pixels. I stumbled out of the chair, the room spinning. Something was seriously wrong with the game, maybe even with Dad's whole computer. The sound of the mariachi band drifted up the stairs, a sudden jolt of reality. I took a deep, shaky breath. Time to face the world, deal with this glitch another day. But as I reached for the doorknob, a chill went through me. On the far wall, projected from the still glitching computer screen, a single line of text pulsed in eerie green letters. You have been chosen. Sweat dripped down my forehead as I dropped from the battle bus, the island spread out below like a pixelated paradise. It was Cinco de Mayo, and Epic Games had decked out the whole map with festive decorations. I scanned the horizon for loot, the adrenaline rush of the drop already coursing through my veins. But something was off. I wasn't alone. A figure flickered near the Salty Springs clock tower, a player skin I didn't recognize. Tall, skeletal, its blocky body was shrouded in a tattered black cloak. "Nice drop, kid," rasped a voice from my headset, the sound echoing as if from miles away. A jolt of fear shot through me. Nobody else was in our party. Who is this?" I stammered, scanning frantically for a weapon. The figure was moving towards me, gliding with impossible smoothness. "Just a fellow player, enjoying the party." The eerie voice chuckled, distortion crackling through my headphones. "Think you can build fast enough?" I fumbled for a wall, slapping down the familiar blue pattern just as the figure reached me. Except something wasn't right. Its hand passed right through the rampart, dissolving into pixelated glitches. Panic surged through me. This wasn't a player, or even some weird cosmetic mod. This was wrong. "Time to play," it hissed, and the ground beneath me vanished. I plummeted, not into the familiar island terrain, but a swirling vortex of code. My screen flickered, the world blurring into an incomprehensible mess of colors, and then darkness. When I came to, I was sprawled on my bedroom carpet, the familiar hum of the computer a jarring contrast to the terrifying silence. I lurched to my feet, heart pounding. The Fortnite screen flickered, a strange, geometric shape twisting and shifting in the distance where the island should be. And there, silhouetted against the chaos, was that skeletal figure, its empty eye socket seeming to bore into me. A message scrolled across the screen, jagged and glitchy. The game has just begun. I slammed the computer off, but the image was burned into my mind. That shadowy figure, the distorted voice, the impossible fall into swirling code. Had it been a nightmare? A twisted server glitch? Or something far worse? The Cinco de Mayo decorations on my screen seemed to mock me. I wasn't playing Fortnite anymore. No, something had breached the divide between the game world and reality. Something had chosen me. The smell of tequila and sizzling fajitas hung in the air as I slipped out of the backyard fiesta, the music and laughter of my family fading into a festive hum. I needed a moment, a break from the relentless cheer of a Cinco de Mayo party. The park just across the street usually offered a quiet escape, but tonight I sensed something different. Not in the air, no, but in myself. A prickling unease, the sort you get when stepping into an unexpectedly cold room. My footsteps on the gravel seemed abnormally loud for some reason, each crunch echoing through the twilight hush. And then I saw it. Not the park's usual features, the worn picnic tables or the graffiti-covered swings, but a shadow lurking near the old oak tree. A tall, slender shadow, wavering like smoke against the trunk. My heart stuttered. No one else was around. Something urged me closer, a strange mix of fear and morbid curiosity. The shadow solidified with each step. Not a person exactly, but a long, ragged cloak swaying in a non-existent breeze. And above it, a mask. Bone white, a skeletal grin stretched impossibly wide, its eye sockets like bottomless pits. It tilted its head at me, a silent question in the gesture. My fight-or-flight instinct screamed in unison. I turned to run, but my feet seemed rooted to the spot. The mask shimmered, the shadows beneath it deepening. Then, a voice rasped through the night air. "A worthy candidate." The words were both in my ears and inside my head, an echo that sent a shiver down my spine. "Candidate for what?" I managed to joke out. The masked figure didn't answer directly. Instead, it lifted a bony hand, and the park around me started to dissolve. The oak tree twisted and morphed, branches dissolving into tendrils of swirling darkness. The air thickened, charged with a buzzing energy that made my skin crawl. A rift opened in the ground, a swirling blackness promising something both terrifying and strangely alluring. "The old ways call," whispered the masked figure. "A festival awaits, and you, child, are the guest of honor." I don't know how I resisted, how some sliver of rationality fought its way through the suffocating fear, but I did. With a desperate effort, I tore my gaze away from the rift, from the masked figure, and bolted. I ran until my legs burned, until houses replaced the warped trees and the cacophony of the party drowned out the eerie silence. Bursting back into the warm glow, I slammed the door shut and leaned against it, trembling. No one questioned my sudden reappearance, or noticed the faint smell of something, earthy and unfamiliar, that clung to my clothes. The party continued around me, a blur of warmth and oblivious joy. I forced a smile, but my gaze kept darting back towards the darkened window, the park beyond it. I haven't gone back, not once, but sometimes, late at night, I imagine I can hear faint drumming carried on the wind. And on the night of Cinco de Mayo, I swear I can feel the masked figure's eyes fixed on me through the window, the grin stretched across its skull-like face. I'm the one who got away, yes, but I'm not sure the festival is over.